Trump was at this gathering or whatever, and I have not watched this. I've held off so that we can watch this nonsense together. Now I have to check and see if the audio works. Yep, there it is. Okay, good. So I can hear it, and I got to turn off my other speakers, and I'll be fine. But he is apparently, this is live-ish. And I mean, the turnout is magnificent. This isn't at all the kind of turnout you would expect at a free event at Psychopath Central.
Well, Mike, I want to thank you, and I want to thank all of the people that are in Wisconsin, a place that I love, and we won the first time, and we actually...
By the way, can I just say for the record, I know this is a hang-up that I have, and maybe only I have. The I want to thank thing is so aggravating. Just thank people. Thank you, Michael, for for having me, and thank you to everybody who showed up today. The I want to thank thing is self-congratulating for having even the idea that I would thank you. I want to thank you all for doing this, because really what you're here to do is congratulate me for being amazing, and therefore I want to thank you for noticing that, because it's, yeah.
We actually won the second time, if you take a very close look, and we didn't even have a very close race, if you want to know the truth. If you remember the Washington Post, ABC, they came out with a poll that I was 17 points down. That's called a suppression poll, because we actually were, even by their count, pretty close to even.
Thank you,
and
Jill.
by the real count,
thank you so much.
we won very easily. So how do you come up with a poll 17 points down? But if you go back 4 years, they have...
It's called an outlier. Nobody bought it at the time. The vast majority of them were in margin of error just above, and Biden won basically within the area of the top of the margin of error.
At the same poll, I was 17 points down, and we ended up winning. So all...
No, he lost. Just for the record, he lost. At some point, do we just kind of...
That is...
Do I have to address, for YouTube's sake, like every time he states something that's complete horseshit? Or do we just, is the audio not coming through? Can you guys not hear him?
It's suppression by the fake news media, and it's suppression by big tech, and frankly, the Democrats.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Robert.
Because the Democrats are their partner. But I love Wisconsin.
So big tech and big media and big industry and big Democrat, and everything that's big is Democratic, and everything that's small and weak and unaccomplished and failing and broken and can't work and doesn't work and won't work is Republican. Okay, good. Just to clarify.
Wisconsin, I love the state. I love this country. In Wisconsin, as you know, you're building ships, big ones, big contracts, $3 billion because of me. I made sure it went to Wisconsin. I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, because you knew you would need that just to get yourself within the margin of error. You're basically buying boats with military contracts. It's that old chestnut.
And the people of Wisconsin are very happy. Mike, I want to thank you. You're a courageous patriot. And some of the people, you have my friends there, Diamond and Silk. We love Diamond and Silk. And Charlie.
So he's not watching it. This is recorded. And they're playing a piece.
Chris Cox, Bikers for Trump. I'll tell you, I didn't know Chris, but every time I went 4 years ago and more recently, thousands of bikers show up, and I felt extremely safe. They are great people. And Dinesh just...
Yeah. Trump is the Altamont of former presidents.
They treated him very badly.
Did he say diamond and silks?
Gave him a pardon. They treated him very, very unfairly. He's a talented guy, a brilliant guy, and another brilliant guy, and a friend of mine is Sheriff Clark. I feel very, very comfortable around Sheriff Clark. Nothing going to happen to me around Sheriff Clark. He's about law and order, and that's...
Yeah, and that's what I like to type and bullshit about as my biggest supporters storm the Capitol and beat cops.
What we need. You know, we put out a statement just a little while ago. A lot of people are commenting. We do press releases now because... Yeah,
they're so good. You guys know this new one, right? The one that he emailed straight to reporters. No, you don't know that? See, I thought they were more elegant and had a farther reach. than Twitter.
We were banned from Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and others. They want to silence us. And the reason they want to silence us is because of the election. It's not because of...
Or it could be that you're fomenting anti-democratic discord that is backed up by violence, and of course that you were trying to convince your followers to pour bleach up their ass and swallow a light bulb, or the other way around.
Other things. It's because of the election. Cancel culture, call it what you will. But the
Yes, you were canceled during the election.
reason is because of the election, because they know the results. They know what really happened. That's why if you go to any place, you see the kind of fight that the Democrats put up. They don't want recounts. They don't want forensic audits in particular. They don't want it. But in Arizona, you have incredible...
That's the Republicans pushing back against those audits, because if there was any fraud, for the record, I would like to say there's a very strong chance that it was put there by people supporting you who wanted that to work out in your favor, and then it didn't, and so now they're trying to hide what they did.
People, Karen Fann, Senator, Sonny Borelli, Senator, so many others.
You could say senator and then their name, or just be weird and brain farty and say people's names and then they're, I'd like to thank Kangaroo Captain. I'd like to thank M.E. Quincy. I'd like to thank Scott Governor.
These are incredible American patriots. And let's see what they do. That's their audit. It's not my audit. I have nothing to do with that. That's their...
Yeah, so if it fails and whatever, he can blame it on them because it's not going anywhere. Yeah, he's a bit of a mess today. And apparently cold. I don't know what this is. This thing, he did this during some of the cabinet meetings where you just tell like he was feeling vulnerable and uncomfortable, and it's really odd. Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's going to fall asleep on the desk. I mean, he just doesn't, I guess, maybe the Secret Service hooks you up with the good blow, the Pervitin. I don't know. But this whole, like, what is that? What is this business? Like, yeah.
It's their audit. They have done...
It's their audit. I know it's failing. I know it's good, and that it's going to cost Arizona millions of dollars, and they have to buy new machines because these things were basically in the hands of partisan hacks behind closed doors without any scrutiny for days at a time. So we can't trust that that they haven't been reprogrammed. And
an incredible job. They are really being pushed by the people of the state because the people of the state don't understand the election. And that's a...
They don't, really?
Good thing to be doing what they're doing because they have to understand the election. When they don't believe in the election, that's a very, very...
By the way, this is to, like, all of these laws, and we talked about this a little bit before, all the laws that the Republicans are passing everywhere are not an attempt to actually stop mass amounts of immigrants or people who are not, registered to vote from voting and all that kind of stuff. That's a farce. What they're doing it is because this guy has driven away all the Republican voters. They don't trust the system anymore. So this system to make people trust the election is because they need to undo the damage done by him by 2022, or his followers are not going to show up.
Very bad thing for our country and for democracy, and I just don't think people are going to let that happen. They want to know how the election turned out and why it turned out that way. And if
yeah, I'll tell you, can I if I may, I can help you with that. I would be glad to help you with that. It turned out that you lost, and the way it happened is you're a shit candidate. And your screw-ups during the pandemic showed what a pitiful leader you are. And if any of the stuff that the right wing is pushing now about, the Chinese lab leak bioweapon story is true at all, then you literally are the most criminal president we've ever had and engaged in trade and financial gain for yourself with the Chinese as they murdered 600,000 people. That would be in a nutshell.
And if there was cheating.
Oh, hi. Okay. Love you. He's upstairs. We're good. Yeah.
If there was fraud, they want to know about that. But I just put out a statement.
Yeah, it's super good. Read it. Read it, maybe. I mean, it's probably better if Don Jr. reads it on his Rumble. But
I said, we were right. Listen to this on the...
Yeah, let me read my statement to you.
Hydroxychloroquine, and it works. You saw the reports just came out.
No.
The virus came from the Chinese lab, the China virus. Hunter Biden's laptop was real.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, you can't just say that. It doesn't exist. And that it came from the lab is because it came from the geography is something we legitimately know. The fact that it may have come from the lab is still up for debate. We need to find out. Biden even said we need to find out. That doesn't mean that you were right about it. And he never even said it came from the lab there. He's the one who was like, the Chinese have been transparent. I don't know where it comes. It came from a place in China and they let it get out. And then they wanted it to get out. And then it was an attack. And then, oh, you guys want to buy some beef?
They tried to say, well, it was made by Russia. Russia.
What? Who did what? When is that? How is that new?
It works. You saw the reports just came out. The virus came from the Chinese lab, the China virus. Hunter Biden's laptop was real.
Okay, the laptop was...
They tried to say, well, it was made by Russia. Russia.
Yeah, it was. Yes. You sent Rudy to Ukraine to buy Compromat. They were selling a hard drive for $3 million. He paid $5 million to God knows who, came home, and then magically the laptop supposedly appears at Keith Ablow's house, and then it magically appears at the blind repairman dude who's since vanished. What shop? We've never seen a picture of it. And then Rudy just has stacks of hard drives that he's passing out to people. Yeah, it's Russia. Yes, that's what they're doing.
Hunter Biden's laptop was real. Lafayette Square was not cleared for a photo op. That just came out, and I want to thank the...
No, they didn't use... The idea was, I guess, that they didn't use tear gas. Was that the ultimate thing?
Inspector General for having the courage to come out with the truth. They was...
Hold on. I would like to see the take on this. Let's see. New window. Let's see. Lafayette Square cleared. The idea was no. What the Trump supporters are now touting on the total exoneration formula. Yeah, here you go. What the new IG report about the gassing of protesters. Lafayette Square actually says. Trump's okay. Here we go. New Inspector General report about the chain of events that led to protesters being tear gassed near the White House last June is generating headlines like "Police did not clear Lafayette Square so Trump could hold the Bible out of photo." But a close reading of the report in question reveals there are still some unanswered questions. Last summer, large Black Lives Matter protests were occurring. June 1st, the Black Lives protests were escalating. Law and order decided to walk to the street from the church to hold the Bible upside down. Right. He was able to do so because the crowd of protesters in Lafayette Square, which abuts the church, had been forcibly cleared by law enforcement in what some outlets referred to as an attack. Officers from various law enforcement groups used horses, riot shields, batons, pepper spray, tear gas to clear the area. Reporters and onlookers understandably linked Trump's desire to hold a photo op with the operation to forcibly clear protesters, but the new IG report has prompted a reevaluation of the linkage with his conclusion. The evidence we obtained did not support a finding that the USPP, the United States Park Police, cleared the park to allow the president to survey the damage and walk to St. John's Church. Instead, the evidence we reviewed showed that the USPP cleared the park to allow the contractor to safely install the anti-scale fence in response to destruction of property and injury to officers occurring May 30th and 31st. But the report does not clarify everything about what happened on June 1st. For example, it does not offer a perspective as to whether the injury to officers was actually necessitated the clearing of the park. That was the reasoning they gave internally while he was running the office. But because the IG report is limited to the actions of the U.S. Park Police and did not include interviews with Secret Service or the Attorney General at the time of the incident, Bill Barr, who spoke with law enforcement before the operation began, important questions about the chain. Yeah, it's BS. That's the filed one with them. I have a gnat in here.
He was saying Lafayette Square was a big deal. By the way, they tried to burn down these insurrectionists. They tried to burn down the church.
Oh, they were the insurrectionists. Are we going to the Insurrection Act now? So is this just to piss off Sidney Powell because you didn't fill out the insurrection, you didn't sign the Insurrection Act?
Which was built at the same time as the White House, and they almost got it. Interestingly, they did fireproofing work a week before. If they didn't do that fire, it was luck. Or maybe it was from God. If they didn't do that...
Yeah, it's probably luck then. Maybe it was from God. I mean, it was a church.
Fireproofing work, the church would have been burned down. The Russian bounty story was a fake. Remember that?
No, it wasn't. They didn't have actionable intelligence.
The Russian bounty, it was a total fake. We did not produce, and think of this.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this. Hold on one second. What? Hold on. I hate the fact that this is hard to put. Let's see. There you go. And here. Stop scrolling. There you go. All right.
The vaccines, all of the vaccines we're saving. Frankly, I believe in freedom. You have to make your own choice. But the vaccines are saving not only the country, they're saving the world.
Yeah, the audience goes distinctly quiet during this part because Mike Lindell literally believes, and it's fairly rare in these, fluctuating, flexible times that we are in, that you can use literally. And in the case of Mike Lindell, he literally believes the virus is the mark of the beast. The vaccine, beg your pardon. The vaccine is the mark of the beast.
Another 1917 where you lost almost 100 million people with the Spanish flu. So the vaccines, and we did it in less than...
Totally, they're sitting back down now. The minute
9 months, everybody said it was going to take 3-4. Dr. Fauci, your favorite person, said it would take 3, 4, 5 years. Don't even do it because it's going to take so long.
By the way, and that's how long it's going to take to get full FDA approval for all of these things. We're still under emergency use. The time scale they're talking about for full FDA use for, when we start dealing with variants that get to this country and we're using booster shots to deal with it along the level of the flu, or we come up with an mRNA that deals with all coronaviruses, including flu, that you're going to need a booster for that. We're about 3 years out from those kind of things. The time scale is the time scale is the time scale. Like this whole, we got it done fast, and then everybody there is like, I'm not taking that shit. It came out too fast.
The FDA does not like me very much, that I can tell you. They don't like me even a little bit because I pushed them like they've never been pushed. It was supposed to take 3 to 5 years. I got it done in less than 9 months. So the vaccine's big deal.
I got it done in less than 9 months.
That's a really big deal. And then we bought billions of dollars before we knew it even worked. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had the vaccine till October.
Yeah, that was the pandemic response team that he got rid of, left him a handbook after they look, you're going to kick us to the curb, but here's the results of our findings and what you're going to need to do. That was all in there. If there's something like that happens and you have the opportunity, pre-buy.
October of this year. So nobody, all of the people that have been able to get their shots, nobody
is in that audience in front of you is among that crowd because they all are not taking it because they believe it's satanic and it tracks them and it makes them magnetic and it makes them sterile and is part of a depopulation scheme by George Soros.
Nobody would have had it yet. But
nobody in that audience has had it yet.
Remember, it's also about freedom, so it's your choice.
Yeah, it's your choice, meaning the
state lockdowns didn't work. They were
yeah, they did.
Disaster. You look at New York, you look at California, you look at Illinois, you look at the blue states run by governors of a certain party called the Democrat Party. They didn't work.
It's the Democratic Party.
They were a disaster. Then you look at Texas and Florida and all of our great representatives and governors that have done such a great job.
Is he wearing, he's got those two mics in front of him, but every time he moves his arms, it gets fuzzy, like he's wearing a lavalier and he keeps touching it or something.
The schools have to be opened. We've been saying that for a year. Open.
Yeah, we didn't do anything to do it, make sure it was okay.
Up the schools, and our border security programs were vitally important and successful. All Biden had to do, all he had to do is just leave it alone. So we went from the most successful, the safest border in the history of our country. Think of that.
Think of that. All it took was a disease that was killing hundreds of thousands of Americans to keep people from wanting to be close to hundreds of thousands of sick Americans.
To the worst and most dangerous border. And it's not just...
Yeah, not the worst and most dangerous currently. Not even close. It's statistically in line with what we deal with all the time.
People coming in. Frankly, in many ways, that's the least of it. Drugs are flowing in at a point.
Again, his mic is muted. What is happening? Get your hands up like you're an adult.
That we've never seen before.
Those are okay. Both those mics are fake. For the record. Or they're aimed at his hands.
That we've never seen before. If you look at the human trafficking, mostly trafficking, unfortunately, mostly trafficking in women. Nobody's ever seen numbers like this. These are.
Yeah, we have.
Are killers. These are thugs. These are people that are being released from the jails of other countries.
Right. This is the whole, he loves the president of Mexico. They respected each other. They work very well together. But at the same time, the president of Mexico is emptying the jail cells of all the rapists and murderers and drug dealers and everybody and sending them to the United States. This is the same sales pitch from the escalator speech, but just, like hitting the nail on the head instead of tapping the sides.
I stopped payment to those other countries. I get along very well with the heads of those countries.
He gets along very well with the heads of the countries that are sending rapists to America. What is that? How is that supposed to be an argument for your effectiveness as a leader? What? I get along very well with them, even though I know full well they are emptying their prisons of murderers and rapists and drug dealers and sending them into America. But I get along with them. They're, other than that,
I stopped payment to those countries, and they accepted all of their MS-13 people back. They were not taking it back for a long time.
Yeah, again, not even true. The Obama administration didn't have this problem.
And I said, well, how much do we pay? And they said, we pay them $500 million a year. I said, stop payment immediately. The next day I was called by the heads of those countries.
And went, yeah, there's caravans coming now.
Saying we would be honored to take MS-13 back into our country. It would be a great honor. So, what we've done is...
Did they say sir before this bullshit story?
Incredible. What we've done in terms of the border, in terms of rebuilding our
What is happening?
Military, so many other things. Right to try, as an example. Right to try. For 44 years, they've been trying to get it approved.
Which is, by the way, the exact same amount of time they've been trying to get the VA changes that Obama made, that he says he made. It's always 44, 45 years, and they were never trying.
It's where somebody's terminally ill, and we won't let them use a very promising medicine.
Yeah, and it wasn't until Trump and the Republicans were able to push through a version where the drug companies have total indemnity.
So we've done all of these things, but illegal.
I don't know why he has mics in front of him. They are not on. These are not the mics. He's not hitting those with his hands. I don't know what that is.
Border crossings. Look at what's happening to our country now. Illegal border crossings are up more than 1,400%. That's one
from COVID.
1,400.
From no one. Again, Schaumburg, fastest growing city in America, because there were 4 people, and then another family moved in.
100%, and getting much worse. And this is only the people that we capture, and then they release them, of course, because
they release them into Tennessee and Texas and just Republican areas apparently, so that they can vote for Democrats.
We had a policy, stay in Mexico. You have to stay in Mexico. We won that in the courts, and we won it with Mexico. And we get along great with Mexico.
We get along great with Mexico because they're sending, again, rapists and murderers. Those people get in, apparently.
The president, he's a terrific guy. It's no good for him either. It's no good.
No, it's terrible for him. He's losing all of his good rapists and murderers. It's really rough when, how do you run a country without prisons full of rapists and murderers? You have to let them out. But them getting across our border and not being able to just prey on the people you left in Mexico is, it's terrible for business.
Because people are coming in from all over the world, not just from Latin America, South America. They're coming in from all sorts of countries, including the Middle East. So,
Arabs, here they come.
We have people coming in. I just saw a report where Sweden.
Jesus Christ. I'm not kidding. What is happening?
Is doing very bad on crime.
Seriously, there are two mics right there. They're doing nothing. This is driving me crazy. His mic is on his tie. Someone hooked him up with, and he doesn't know it. He's not thinking about it. That's the lavalier should be the fallback, and those two mics are there in case he does exactly this.
Crime. Germany is doing very bad on crime. These used to be the safest countries in Europe, and now they're becoming very unsafe. One of the most unsafe countries is Sweden. You know why? They're letting in people into their country that are causing tremendous disruption. Well, we're letting in people at a level that Sweden never even could imagine.
Well, that's because we're like, what, 10 times the size of Sweden?
So people are just flowing across our borders. We had it stopped. We built almost 500 miles of border wall, and it would have been finished in 4 weeks. And
yeah, just that last, the only thing is that last 4 weeks of work, and the rest of it doesn't work at all. Like, as soon as somebody wasn't there to guard it, the wall doesn't work for shit. Now that because it's those crucial last 4 weeks. Apparently, the wall was baked like a cake, you know, and somebody took it out and it just.
And then Biden decided to stop it. So now we have openings, and now I understand they want to stop it, but they're having a hard time with the contractors. I know contractors better than anyone.
Yes, you've stiffed contractors more than anyone.
Very brilliant. They may
Why is he squinting? I think he's just tired.
not read or write in some cases, but
I will say that the kind of stimulants that he is known to be on cause migraines, kind of like caffeine does. If you have too much caffeine, if you have migraines, that can trigger it, and that can cause blurred vision and that kind of stuff. So if you see somebody kind of doing that business a lot, that he uses that stuff, I mean, that's part of it.
But you know what? They're smarter than the rest. They're smarter.
Oh.
So I just want to thank.
It froze. What did he just say about contractors?
The border wall, and it would have been finished in 4 weeks, and then Biden decided to stop it. So now we have openings, and now I understand they want to stop it, but they're having a hard time with the contractors. I know contractors better than anyone. They're very brilliant. They may not read or write in some cases, but you know what?
There are no contractors that are working at least on government projects, if not any meaningful projects in this country, that cannot read or write. And technically, I would argue that there are no brilliant people. There are some smart people, I'm sure, street smart, whatever that is, that are illiterate. But there are no brilliant people that are illiterate in the United States, anyways, that are working on giant federal contracts. And the idea that that his wall was supposed to solve it, that 4 more weeks would have stopped all this, the people coming across. But now we have the worst border ever because the wall didn't work. You were supposed to set it and forget it. The wall stops everything. Walls and wheels, right? Walls work. Once you have it up, you're done. You don't need to track people. Drones are ridiculous. It's got it's got electrodes in it to shock everybody. But apparently, minus those 4 weeks of work, the wall is useless. People are coming, by and around and through it faster than ever. It did nothing. Billions of dollars spent, and apparently the wall is useless by his account.
You know what? They're smarter than the rest. They're smarter. So I just want to thank everybody. I'm apologetic.
Well, then do it.
Because gas prices have skyrocketed.
I'm apologetic because again, the self-involved version of the word. Is there a way to conjugate every word to where you make it about yourself? I would like to think I'm being very apologetic about it instead of just like, I'd like to apologize, even, just going, I apologize for what you're going through, or I feel sorry for you for what you're going through. You can't apologize for something that isn't your fault, unless, I guess, technically it was.
Rocketed. If you look at your gasoline prices, when I left, it was $1.87.
And no one was going anywhere.
A gallon. And now it's way over $3 in many cases. And by the way, I hate to say it, but it's going up and really going up. The Keystone Pipeline, 48,000 people. The real number is 48,000 people.
Yeah, the people building the Canadian shale oil pipeline.
Out of work almost immediately. Now, Biden never said that during the campaign. I told you he would do that.
No, everybody was running against Keystone Pipeline. During Obama-Biden, they were talking about stopping it. This is, I don't know why he thinks this is a win.
But he never said that during the campaign. So the
Yeah, he did, repeatedly.
Keystone Pipeline, a disaster, and yet he allows Russia. You know, I stopped the Russia pipeline, probably the biggest pipeline in the world.
Then how's it still going through?
We're going into Germany and other countries in Europe. It was stopped. He approved it, and he let it be built. So he let them have a pipeline.
We don't have direct control over it.
In Europe.
We can only pressure people to do it. That's part of what he's doing at the G7.
By Russia, but he doesn't let us have the Keystone XL pipeline, and all of those people are out of work. And
Terrible.
The union heads, believe it or not, they supported Joe Biden. They ought to get rid of those union heads right now. I will tell you, the workers supported me, but they supported
apparently not
Joe Biden. You look at so many other things like China and the China virus. They have to pay reparations. We've been hurt so badly.
Yeah, finally, this is the reparations that Trump can wrap his head around.
In terms of death, human life, and in terms of monetarily, to a level that they have to pay us.
Thank you, Linda.
And frankly, if they paid us $10 trillion, that wouldn't cover it. But they really have to pay the world, because this has started in the world. The entire world has been not only disrupted, but it's almost been destroyed. And we're doing well.
The entire world has not been destroyed. I would like to say, just for the record, look, we have somewhere in the order, by the time this all shakes out, we might lose to COVID about 11 million people worldwide. And in many of the countries where there's a spike, where we're trying to help this, there might be a rolling issue with it for years to come if it continues to spike, spread, and create variants in those countries that we will have to deal with as people come into our country, and all the other first world nations who are building the vaccines and all that are going to have to modify mRNA vaccines to try and tamp down these variants as they go. But this ain't the bubonic plague. They're not plague doctors walking in the street scooping people up in the middle of New York City. There never were. Good Lord.
Well, because we built such a great economic foundation. We created the most jobs of any president ever. We had 160 million people working. We were never close. And then we got hit by the pandemic. And like every other country,
we've heard this
we
part
had
before.
some very tense moments, but we did an incredible job. But because the foundation was so strong, we're back.
See what I mean? When he uncrosses his hands, then you can hear the mic that's on his jacket wherever the hell it is.
Far better than any other country. They used to say, oh, but look how well India's doing. Well, India's been hit harder.
Yeah, they didn't say that. Like, nobody was like, but India's killing it.
Than anybody now. But they used to use that as an excuse. They used to use other countries.
Well, you used to use Sweden as an excuse for herd immunity, and then they got hit worse.
As an excuse about how well they're doing, but now they're doing unbelievably badly, and we're doing
unbelievably badly.
Great as a country, especially those areas, and in particular areas run like Florida, Ron DeSantis, and Texas, Greg Abbott, and other places.
What? Yeah, where they're getting people vaccinated in large part because they're big and rich states. How's the virus rate in South Dakota?
You look at the places run by Republicans, they're doing unbelievable. So we really built it back twice.
Yes, it's not believable.
We built it back the first, and we were stronger than ever before. And then we had
I know we felt it. Didn't you guys feel it?
The pandemic. We did an incredible job. We came up with a vaccine early. We gave shots much earlier than anybody thought possible. 9 months, less than 9 months we did this. It was going to take 4, 5, 6 years. Some people thought it would never happen.
Yeah, never. We would just die. Just, one coronavirus like MERS or SARS comes back around, whole world wiped out. I mean, imagine like the flagellating egoism of this.
But we did it, and we're very proud of it.
Oh, did we? Because we're very proud of it. We're very proud of the vaccine. Tell that to that entire crowd, including Mike Lindell, who is not getting the vaccine and will never get the vaccine because he thinks that it's the mark of the beast, and he thinks that, but somehow you are against it.
Out of it. And honestly, we've saved our country. We've saved the world. What we've done for the world will be written about later on. Maybe not.
Later on, yes, in the third testament of the Bible, when they talk about the mark of the beast, they'll say, when Cotton Candy Head, the orange beast opened the third seal.
Not right now because they don't want to give us credit, but it'll be written about. And again, I want to thank everybody that's there. You are incredible.
Yeah, the credit will go to Dr. Fauci and the team at the CDC and the NIH coordinating all of it based on the pandemic response team's findings before you scuttled them. By the way, tell us again how the cupboards were
Incredible people. The election was rigged. The election was rigged like never before. We got them by surprise 4 years ago, and then
yes, apparently it was a big surprise even to you.
We got 12 million more votes. Think of it. We went from 63 million votes, and we won, to 75 million people, and
yeah, that's what happens when you allow no excuse mail-in voting and all those things. That's what happens. More people participate. We have a bigger electorate, and there's a huge chunk of people that want to participate, but they make it too difficult in a lot of red states, especially. But because of COVID, we had more people voted by mail and early than ever before, and there was more of a paper trail than we've ever had.
They say we lost, but we didn't lose.
Yeah, you lost. For the record, he lost, just so you know. He lost badly. I mean, he lost the popular vote the first time, but they're going to tell it themselves that it was all illegals voting and dead people and whatnot. Same thing this time, but the number was enormous. It's a trouncing.
75 million votes, they say that we lost. Now, I was told by John McLaughlin, who's considered...
This is going to be all you need is this number. This is the part where if you think there's some massive fraud going on or somebody planned it, how the incumbent would have less power to manipulate, control the election, and use everything that is within his power as the president of the United States to get his ass kicked by the challenger who has none of those things is kind of amazing. But this whole, all you need is this number of votes, we get this number and you're golden, sounds like someone selling you a fraud system. It sounds like somebody going, look, tell you what, we can make it so that you get 68 million votes. That's all you need. You clear that, there's no way he touches you. And we will do this and it'll cost you this. Like that's what this McLaughlin conversation sounds like.
Considered just about the best pollster, I would say the best pollster.
Is the guy who likes him all the time.
Sir, there's a few of them out there, Towery. There are a few of them out there that are great. Sir, you got 63 million.
Sir.
If you can go up to 65, you can't lose the election. Well, you know what happened?
Yeah, we bought 2 million votes like they were Twitter followers, and it didn't work. Satire, 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 satire.
We went up to 75, and they say we lost the election. If you win Miami, if you win Florida.
Yeah, just winning Miami is enough.
If you take out and win, and we won by a lot, Florida and Ohio, and then
yes, that's true. If this was 1998.
You add Iowa, nobody.
Add Iowa.
Nobody's ever won those states and lost.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's almost like we don't live in the same electorate that we had 15 years ago. I was always told in the 80s all you needed was Ohio and Florida.
In virtual landslides, and they have us losing. And there are so many. We held every state house. We held Congress,
Yeah, all the Republicans that got elected and you lost. So it must have been these total fake ballots, even though those big fake ballots all seem to make a lot of the Republicans in those areas win.
We were supposed to lose 20.
Iowa, I know. I don't know what the hell.
5 seats, and we ended up gaining 16 in the House of Representatives.
So what's your argument for you being you being cheated? You gained seats in the House. It was narrow, and the Republicans didn't lose huge sections of the Senate. It was you, dude. It was you.
Representatives. And it wasn't for me. Right now, the Senate would be 60-40 against, because I made
60-40. Were there even that many seats available?
teleconference calls. They call them town hall calls.
Is that what they call them? Yeah, we listened to some of them. Yeah, they were the thing that clinched it, was his phone calls. Jesus Christ. Remember when we went through those last year? These weird, like, thank you, Iowa, for doing this. I really want you to get out and vote for, who's that person on the list? And right, vote for them. Did my job. Check, please.
Speaking to tens of thousands of
Dozens.
people for congressional candidates and senators.
Yeah, that was what did it, was these phone calls.
And we would right now be at 60-40 against instead of 50-50. And unfortunately, Mitch McConnell, with what he was doing.
At least Mitch knows not to cover his lav with his hands like that.
Hurt us very,
Sit back.
very badly in Georgia. We lost those 2 seats. We should have never lost those 2 seats, but we did. But we also lost them for other reasons. I'm not sure that no matter.
Can you imagine what the people, like, do you think, is this like the drum solo section of this speech where people watching this have all just left to get a pretzel?
What you did, you could have won. They signed a consent decree in Georgia that was so bad, it basically was a decree that said Republicans aren't going to win. They should have never been allowed.
You mean the thing that Republicans signed and pushed through?
To sign it. Regardless, again,
Regardless.
I want to thank Mike as being a true patriot. I want to thank people like Rudy Giuliani, who is out there
Oh, Giuliani. We're now pronouncing it that way.
fighting, and they're after him, and they want to take him down. They want to take us all down. There's never been a time like this. There's never been. It's weaponized.
Well, I don't know. Like, obviously, Nixon went through the ringer.
It's weaponized, and the
It's weaponized.
Republicans were very nice. Our people were very, very nice and very, very respectful. And
yeah, that's what they were. Yeah, that's when I think of Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan and Rudy, and yeah, just nice and respectful.
I said this would happen, but Rudy is a great patriot. He was the greatest mayor in the history of New York, and a great, great patriot. And what he's done, and what Mike has done, and what so many other people have done, these are incredible heroes.
Yeah, they're great people, and I would like to put them in a giant group of nobodies that are doing great things that I can't, I mean, I wish I could name them all.
And they're going to go down as heroes someday, and I think.
Well, you're half right. They're going to go down. The as heroes part, not so much.
I think it's someday in the not too distant future. So I look forward to being with you. Mike, congratulations on this unbelievable crowd. That crowd is incredible. I mean, you set that up so quickly, and look at the number of people that showed up, and that'll.
Yeah, and yet you can't fill a place anymore. That's odd.
It'll happen all over the country, because it's all over the country. People want to know what happened.
People want to know what happened.
And I want to know what happened.
I'll tell you what happened. You lost. You lost badly.
Because that was an election that was won by us easily. It was won easily. Thank you very much. Enjoy the day. Thank you, Mike. Keep it going, Mike. You're a fighter and you're a winner. Thank you all very much. I love you all.
God bless you, Mr. President.
They released balloons right at that moment.